Okay. All right. For those of us who have joined, thank you very much for joining. So today I just want to quickly look at what the group one have done. So group one, uh, we're supposed to have this data set once you clean your data. The moment you're done cleaning the data, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to have the ID, marital status, gender, income, children, education, occupation, homeowners, and this should be homeowners. And then the scars, this is commute distance, region, age, and age bracket, and purchased bike or bike purchased. Bike purchased. So apparently this is what your data set is going to look like. And from your questions in the class, I remember giving you guys some certain questions to work with. Uh, based on those questions, we're going to create a pivot table. So let's call this particular sheet, rename it by right clicking, come here, name. Let's call this sheet bike purchase. Now we're going to create a new sheet. This particular sheet, we'll call it pivot table. Now all the pivot tables we're creating, we're going to be putting them right here. And lastly, we're going to call this particular third sheet, we're going to call it the dashboard. So we have bike purchase, pivot table, and then dashboard. So what we're going to be doing right now is we'll be creating pivot table based on the questions we've asked, and then we're going to create the pivot and put them here, and then we'll create a dashboard right here. So this is what we're going to be doing today, and hopefully before our time elapses, we're going to conclude on this. So the question of group one, let me see, we have a question for group one. Group one. So we said we should create a pivot table showing the occupation of the highest bike purchasers. So we have here highlight the entire data set. Come to insert, click on pivot table. Now we're not opening a new sheet, so we are inserting it in an existing worksheet. We come here, click here, just put here and click OK. And then you have a pivot table right here. If you've joined, you can just subscribe to the channel and then use the comment section and type a question if you have a question, and I would do well to answer your questions. You can also use the reaction to drop a message and call my attention to it. All right, so going forward, we want to see the occupation of the highest bike purchases. So we are going to scroll down here and pick occupation, which is this, and we're going to check bike purchase, which is this one. So by this, we've succeeded in creating occupation of highest bike purchases. So we see that we have clerical staff, they purchase 77 bikes, management staff 173, manual staff 119, professional staff 276, and skilled manual staff 256. So far, based on the purchase, we can see that professional staff who have purchased 276 are the highest purchasers of this bike. And then coming back here, we go back to the second question. So I'll just put the questions in the group that we are addressing. Um, I'll put the question right here in the chat box. These are the questions we are working with. Okay. So these are the questions in the chat box that we're working with. So the questions are right here in the chat box. So question 2 says we should create a pivot table that shows the age, marital status, and region of those who purchased the highest number of bikes. And then we'll come back to our data set. We'll highlight the full data. We're going to go back to insert, click on pivot table. Now, as usual, we're not doing any existing table, so we are continuing with the existing sheet. So we come back to this place, just beneath this here, we can just put here and click OK. So this one is for question 2. Question 2 says we should create a pivot table for data that shows the age, marital status, region of those who purchase the highest bike. So here, for those that purchase the highest bike, so we're talking about purchase of highest bike, marital status here, put them right here, and then the age. So we look for the age, bring it right here, and then we look for the next one is region. So we come right here and take region and put it right here. So if you look here, you notice that it's kind of scattered. So we can just do something like this. Instead of putting the region and all this, we can just put the region under columns. So we can take region and put it right here. So we have North America, Europe, North America, Pacific, which are the 3 regions. And then based on the status of the married persons, we have the married, the singles, and married and single. So I think married and single should just take off the age first. So we have married and single, and these are their locations. So we can have this as one of our data set. Then the next one is we are creating what is the highest number of miles commuted by clerical staff, what is the ratio of male to female bike purchase per average income. So we're going back to our data set. We're creating a pivot table. As usual, we're continuing from the existing one. So just do this, we can put a new pivot table right here. So for this one, we want to see the number of miles commuted by clerical staff. So uh, we can take commute distance, which is this. We can see this. So we can see the bike purchased for this commute distance. And if you want to see based on their occupations, we can put a filter right here. And this filter can always show us for clerical staff what they've concluded. So this way it's a little bit easier. You can just see that by the time you put the commute distance and the bike purchase, you can see the occupation of the clerical staff. They've gone on 0 to 1 miles. 109 bikes were purchased. 1 to 2 miles, 30 bikes. So mostly people who travel short distances have purchased the highest number of bikes. So um, going forward, if there's a question, please feel free to ask a question and drop it in the comment section, because I'll be going, I can just quickly go over it again. And mind you, you can always come back to this video at any time to rewatch it. So don't bother about the if you don't get it, you can also drop a question right here or drop a question in the group chat. I would be nice to attend to it. So question 4, which is the last one here, says, what is the ratio of male to female bike purchase according to and their average income? So now we're talking about gender. Here we can have all of this data set. We can insert it, a pivot table existing. So we come here. We can put in front, none anywhere we want to put it, you can put. We put it right here. Now, in terms of the gender, we can put it here. Uh, Based on their average income, we can look at the income here. And trust me, you can just change this from average, from the sum, go back here, and you can click average. You click OK. So this is the ratio of people who travel, so their average income. So we can put bike purchase on the column. So here, so this person's purchased bike, yes. This person's purchased bike, this person's purchased bike, no. This one's the purchased bike, yes. So you have a summary right here. So basically, what all these questions is doing is addressing specific business questions that will help you draw conclusion from this bunch of data set right here. You have this full data. How do you draw conclusion from it? How do you know how many married persons got a bicycle, or how many sorry, a bike, or how many unmarried persons got a bike? That's single persons. And now you can also check on the married persons how many female or how many male got a bike, and you can also check their average income or their income per person who for the persons who are buying bikes. These are insights we try to generate from this particular data set. Now, we can also see like the distance per customer, the distance covered for every commuter that purchased a bike. So what do we check? We looked at bike purchased against the commute distance. So here we can create another table, pivot table, inside a pivot table in the same existing worksheet. Come right down here and put right here. So here we want to see the commute distance and the bike purchase, the ratio to bike purchase. So we will look at here commute distance, which is this. These distances here, we already have commute distance here and bike purchase, but we want to have this uh, with bike purchase. Now we can also do this based on their average income. So we can put income right here, and you can see it kind of spreads wide. So most times when you do anything, you have to make sure that it fits the narrative of what you want to do. So if it doesn't, please take it off and make it look good. Now you can also put income right here. So see, for 0 to 1 miles, 366 bike were purchased, and the total sum of income is this. And then if you want to count it, like the income, if you don't want to sum it, you want to use a count, you can change the field value here and make it count. But when you count it, it's still going to give you the same count as this. So of course we wanted the sum, which is the amount of money that comes in from the sale of 366 bikes. So come back here, click on the field settings, click on sum, and click OK. Now you have this data set available right here. Now bottom line is, all these data sets are supposed to be very meaningful to you, and they should give you better insights on how to deal with this data, so that when you're working with them, when you're looking at these tables, it should express what exactly you want to see, what you want to know about this full set here. Now, as a data analyst, this particular pivot table looks kind of rough, because you wouldn't want to present this to any management and tell them this is my report, and it doesn't make any sense. So you need to make this make sense, and that is where the role of dashboard comes into play, which is this place. Now we want to create a dashboard from this data set we've gotten right here. The data set, the dashboard, first thing you do is highlight the entire sheet, and then go to layout, page layout. You will see grid lines right here. Just uncheck it. Now, the moment you uncheck the grid lines, every line disappears. No more lines right there. Now, what do we want to do? First, we want the background to have a basic color, and we want to beautify it. So building a dashboard is basically building something beautiful with color. So we can just look at right here and see a fill. We can click this, sorry, this one, and click this. So it looks this black. We can, let's see, make sure you're clicking this angle here at the top of one and beside A before changing the color. So here we want to pick something mild. So this is the background of what we want to work with. Now, how do we put a dashboard? First, we want the name of the dashboard. So what should we name it? So I can name it bike sales, a bike purchase dashboard. So right here, I can type bike purchased dashboard. Now, uh, just this is looking okay, but we need to beautify it. Uh, so just look at inside here. Uh, let's look for word art. I think word art makes it look better. So click on this text, click on word art, and let's use something casual, this one. So copy this, paste it. So we can type bag purchased dashboard. Now we can delete this because we don't need it. This particular write-up, we can bring it right here, push it up, and you can resize it. So, okay, so once we do this, we can change the color of the text. We can also change the background for it, depending on how you want it to look like. So, see, now this is you designing a dashboard. And then what do we do on dashboard? Basically, what we're presenting are charts. So what are the chart storytelling? So right here, the first thing we want to do is bring the first pivot chart here for this one, which is the count of bike purchased by staff's occupation, which is this. Now, if we want to present this in a chart, what kind of chart should we take? So let's look at it. We can come right here, say insert. Uh, let's see, we can look for more kind of charts. We can look for charts here. So we look for, let's say, this one. Now, because we do not select any date set right here, once you click on this, it will ask you to, it remains blank. Click on select data. Now, from here, you just go back to your pivot table and select this one as your data set. Okay, so click OK, and voila, you have your chart right here. So first thing you should know is always assume that the size of the chart are going to be the same. So reduce it to fit your narrative. Don't build a chart that is too space that is too big. So reduce it. Now here you can reduce the size of your work environment a little bit so that you can see what you're doing. See, the moment you make it like this, it looks better. So we have this chart here. Now you can remove this total, we don't need it, and we can add like labels if you want to, anything you want to adjust on the chart. So like the chart and the axis title, if you want to add, chart title, you want to add detail labels, you want to add a table from where you copied uh, the data set. You want there's a grid line here, and if you want to put up a legend, if you do not, please leave it like that. And this is your first chart. Now on this chart, you can also look at here, see design, and check for any kind of design from here that fits your narrative of what you want to do. There are a series of designs here, and you can also click on here to format the chart in case you want to change it to something that suits your style. Or you can also click on pivot analyze to either change the values on the x-axis or on the y-axis. So but for the course of this what we're doing right here, we'll just stick to design. And for me, I like this black background. I think it looks a little bit cool, so I'll go with this, and that will be all. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll be glad to respond to your question. Okay. All right, going forward, the next one is picking up the next data chart. So we have right here, just beside this, we can go back to insert. Let's click on this. Let's click on a line chart. For example, let's take a 3D line chart. Now, for the 3D chart type, we can click on this to select the data. And as usual, right here, we want to come back to the pivot table. And what we are looking for is this particular data set. So we want to see Europe, North America, and the Pacific, and for singles and married. So we click on OK, and then you have something like this. Now it looks a little bit off, but you can decide to make it better. So look at this, and you can change the chart type if you want. You can change the chart type. So let's say you don't like that one, you can check this or this or this. Now, depending on whatever you're choosing, or you're taking a bar chart, or you're taking a pie chart, you're taking area chart, the XY scatter, the stock, whatever. These are lots of maps, chart types you can pick from. But for the course of what we're doing, let's go with bar chart. And we can use the clustered bar chart and click OK. So this kind of tells a story for the single and the married and the number of bikes they purchased. So we can remove this chart title if we don't need it. And as usual, I told you I like this. And then for this one here, you can remove the chart title. The axis, you can remove it if you don't want it. And then the treadmill, you can put either of this if you want. If you do not want them, you can ignore them. So you can put your legend that shows that the blue is Europe, the orange is North America, and the gray is Pacific. If you do not want to put that, you can also remove the legend if you don't want it. So just make sure that whatever you're putting right here, you're making it known that this is what you want. So if you want to see the data where you copied this from, you can put it down right here, which tells a better story that out of the people who purchased bike, the married persons and the single persons for Pacific, the married is 95, 297, and 146. This kind of tells a better story of your chart. So you can also do these adjustments right here instead of coming up here by clicking this small filter button right here. So you can see you can pick from them depending on which one best suits what you want to do. So let's assume this one is fine, so we end with that. I believe everybody is following. You can drop a message on the chat box. All you just need to do is click on the subscribe button and you can drop a message. Okay. Okay. All right. So going forward, we want to see the next kind of chart we're going to put right down. So we want to put a look at the average income purchase bike chart. So here we can put right here, just beneath this, and click on our insert, click on our line chart. As usual, we just click one of these, bring it down to fit it according to the one above, and then we can select our data set. So click here and go back to your pivot table. So we said we want to see, let's see the row, the miles covered as per the bike purchase. So we can copy this and then click on OK. So this is a simple line chart, and if you click on it, click on design. I told you I like the black, so I'm gonna be sticking mostly to the black, and then I do not want to see the chart title. I don't want to see the chart title. All I want to see is the line chart. So I can put a legend if I want to, but I don't need a legend. So uh, no need for treadmills, no need for anything else, just this. So I want something as simple as this. No stress. It just tells me the story of the line chart. So if you look from here, you will see that from 0 to 1 miles are leading on the purchase of bike, followed by 5 to 10, which is leading right here, and then you can see 1 to 2 miles and 2 to 5 miles almost using the same kind of almost purchasing the same amount of bike. And lastly, you can see that those who travel more than 10 miles do not purchase bike. So this kind of tells a story. And I told you, if you want to show the data where you copied it from, you can just put your data table right here, but it's not in every case. But in case you want it, you can put it right there. So this one is done, and then let's see which one else we're building again. Guys, please feel free to drop your questions while the class is going on in case you have any questions to ask. All right. Another chart that explains this one was showing the distance. We want to see distance covered by uh, every customer who purchased a bike. So what is the distance per customer? Uh, or we want to see the average age brackets for all the people who purchased bike. So we can come here, look at our pivot table. Where is our age bracket table? Okay, let's change this one to age bracket. Okay. So we have, which is, let's highlight this, bring it down, click on insert, pivot table. We're going to continue from our existing pivot table and put it right here, down here, and we click OK. Bracket for people who purchased bike. So let's look for the age. So we take the age bracket right here. We can also, instead of using this age bracket, we can also use age range. So we can make this field setting to be the range if we want it, but what we're going to be using is mostly the bracket. So we're going to see bracket like this, and we're going to see bike price. So based on particular data set, we are seeing adolescent, middle age, and old age. So the middle age people are the ones who are buying the highest number of bikes. So right here, we can just add a new chart. We can click on here, insert. Let's take on a pie chart. So we can take a pie chart, put it right here, and then we can select our data set right here, come to our pivot, and we want to see this one. So we can do this. Now, based on this, let's take out this total. Based on this, we can see that the orange is middle age. This, so we can as well change this based on how we want it to look like. I told you I like this black background, so this is a simple dashboard that shows you, that tells a story of this bike piece data set. So this is the data set, this is the dashboard, and this is where you're getting all your pivot table. Now, one of the things that makes a dashboard interesting is your ability to add filter to the dashboard. So, for example, I want to see changes happen to all of this data set, but I want the changes to happen almost instantaneously to every of the other the other charts. So here, I'm gonna put like a filter. So one of the filters I want to put is called a slicer. So here, I want to add a slicer and insert. Go to insert and click on insert slicer. Now, what do I want to see on the slicer? So if I want to see the educational level for all of those people, I can just put an educational slicer. I can put the I can put the marital status. I think we don't have marital status here, so I can put the marital status for those people here. Then I can put if they have cars. So here I have this number of slicer here, two. But in order for the slicer to look good, if I click on married, you notice that this this particular data set changes. If I click on single, it changes. Now, if I cancel, it changes. Now, but I need this particular this slicer to be lined up right here, so I can use it. Now here, you can look at the up here. You see that this particular one has two options, so I can change this column to. It means that it goes back up right here. So I'll adjust this accordingly and bring it right here. Reduce the height. So it means that this particular slicer is going to be affecting only this one. So now here, for people who have cars, the number of cars they have, those who have zero cars, if I click, see, those people who do not have cars, mostly the clerical staff do not have cars. So you see they are the highest. Those with one car, the professional staff, most of them have one cars. Those with two cars, the skilled manual workers, all of them have more than two cars. They have the highest number of cars too. And then check three, we have management and professional. They are the ones leading right here. And then lastly, check those with four cars. Only professionals and management, they are the only ones that have four cars. Now here, I want this slicer to come up and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have five options, so I can make it a 5 column, and I can bring this up right here and I'll put it right here. Now, what this does is it kind of helped me to see options of cars here. So I have education. Now here, bachelor's degree, the people who work manual have the least graduate degree. Those in management are the ones with the highest. High school, skilled manual workers have the highest. Partial college, clerical staff, partial high school, mostly dominated by manual. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can change this slider to uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So okay, so I can bring it right here, expand this. So so here now, but the problem is when you look at this dashboard, it is looking all good and fine, but notice that when you click on any of this slicer option, it is only affecting only this particular one. See, it's only affecting this one. When you click on this, it's only affecting only this one, only this. But I want it to be reflective in all of it. So what do I do? First, I click on this, click on the slicer right here at the top right of your screen, and then click on report connection. Now, I do not want this slicer to connected to this. I want it to be connected to all of my pivot tables so that when I put a slicer on one, it affects everything. Now, see, by the time I click married here, it affects everybody. Everybody. It affects everybody. Now, if I click on single, see how everything changes? It affects every information right here. The same thing I will do to this one. So I'll click on this one. I want it to report the connect to all of it. So here, click on all of it and then click OK. Now, the moment you click on 0, you notice that it affects everybody right here. So you see the function is affecting everybody. So cancel. The same thing you will do to this one. Click on slicer, click on report connection, and click on 1, 2, 3, 4, and lastly. So this is as simple as creating a dashboard looks like. It is not so much of a big deal when it comes to Excel. So you see, you can just wake up and pick up the data based on what we've created in the class and create your own dashboard and make it look as presentable as this. So please, group one, all of you, go ahead and create a dashboard that represents something similar as this. Must not necessarily look the same, but please make your dashboard look beautiful. So group one, you have an assignment to be submitted next week. Let's see, do I have any question from anybody here? I want to, no questions. No question. Okay. So it means everybody understands this. If you don't understand, please feel free to go back to the video, rewatch it again, and you can drop a questions in the group chat, and I'll be doing the most to respond to all your questions. So so far so good. If there's no question, I would leave you so you don't have to watch a very long video in trying to replicate this. This one is for group one. The videos from the last two classes, I haven't been able to download it because of payment issues, but I would just kind of do a refresher next week before we round up the Excel class. So tomorrow, hopefully, I would take on the group 2 assignment and create a dashboard from their assignment, and then have the groups submit their assignment at the end of the month so we can conclude with Excel and move straight to Power BI. Thank you very much for everyone that turned up for the class, and see you guys tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Have a lovely evening.